Yo, welcome back to Taku. I know it's been a minute. I'm glad to be back. I'm here with Quiez TV, B-Phil, me, JP, Money, Rex, the big dog, the big goat, Timothy. But we're here to watch Bleach Thousand-Year Blood War Arc. It's insane. Me and Phil trying to get Quiez to actually watch Bleach. So I need y'all in the comments tell them to watch it, bro, because he's missing out. Also, talking
yeah, he definitely missing out
about the Big Three. Shout out to Bleach. The next generation Big Three just was announced a couple weeks ago, and Bleach is now the father of the new generation. Bleach is now the Goku to us now. Did y'all hear about that?
That do make sense.
The new Big Three of this generation being
what about One Piece?
My Hero,
My Hero.
My Hero, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Demon Slayer are the new Big Three, where Bleach is the father. Like, cause the original Big Three was Bleach, One Piece, and Naruto, with the father being Goku. So for this generation, Bleach is now the father of JJK, My Hero, and Demon Slayer.
It's Hershey. Yeah, Quiz been really missing out, y'all. Y'all comment below and tell him how much he been missing out, because he know he been missing out, but he just, you feel me? Let's do it.
Masterpiece, quite literally some of the best episodes that I'd seen in anime. It was nice to get a stretch of episodes where it's like, all right, everybody, pull your bankais out. We're gonna start scrapping. I mean, episode 1 gets right into it. Uryu, you are now Yhwach's second in command. I mean, all right, that was fast. I think the Stern Ritters were justifiably not too happy with that decision. We get to see the ritual go down between Uryu and Yhwach, and Yhwach gives Uryu his shrift. If there's one thing about Quincy's, is that they arguably have the most unique powers in all of Bleach. I mean, we're talking about people that can literally fight with whatever they're able to conjure up, and they still lose to Kenpachi. But throughout the rest of episode 1, we really just get to see training scenes.
The graphics look good, though.
They're all training in the Royal Palace.
Yeah.
We see that Byakuya also made a healthy recovery, and I got a lot of comments educating me. People telling me Byakuya is originally not supposed to be here right now, but the decision to end his character arc right there was so unpopular that Kubo got a lot of not very polite messages. But I'll talk about Byakuya more in depth, because he has a couple of very cool scenes in this arc. But my favorite moment in episode 1, when Shunsui went to the world of the living and gave Ichigo's friend soul tickets. I know that's not a big deal at all, especially in the scope of the story, but it was a sweet moment alongside Orihime wishing that all 3 worlds can coexist kindly. But all of that comes to an end quickly, because episode 1 does not let us leave off on a happy note. The Serete is gone. Welcome to the Wandenreich. It's been here the entire time. And this is where the arc kicks off, because as Yhwach and Uryu stand atop the Wandenreich, Yhwach
is this like the beginning, like the first season, or is this like
9 days? Episode 2 picks off on
no,
that
this
shows us inside the
this currently.
Okay. These are Yhwach's orders. We're gonna kill everybody, and we're gonna do it quick. It's also explained.
No, he was saying like at the beginning, Bleach. He was saying the very beginning.
Pierce the soul shield because they were already inside of it.
Oh, I got hit with that.
Same. Why you ain't starting him off at the beginning?
And the last thing,
you put him on a new one.
The action, because we know there's a lot of it, but Mayuri was able to figure out the correlation between Quincy's and the shadows, and he turned himself into like a walking flashlight. Mayuri, at least to me, throughout this entire series, has consistently been one of the best captains. He doesn't take L's. He's extremely smart. One of the most important captains to the well-being of the Soul Society. I don't think Mayuri has taken an L since his fight with
Uryu back in the Soul Society
arc. But I'm gonna put all that aside for right now. We got some fights going on in Core 2. Remember, captains got no bankais, and the first no bankai fight is Toshiro and Rangeku Toshiro, Captain Bankai himself. But it's both of them versus Bazz-B, and this fight goes nowhere. It goes absolutely nowhere for now.
Dude, if you really want to know, Bazz-B is trash. I'm just gonna leave it at that. He don't really have the Quincy potential that I feel like all the other Quincy showed me. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't like this nigga. But you can start the video again. Yeah.
Bro, that is crazy that you said that. That's crazy that you said that about Bazz-B, bro. Cause you know what's about to come up next for Bazz-B. Like, you know that nigga about to get down. You know that nigga about to
Bazz-B is a walk.
Bro, you cannot say that when you were a fan of Renji, bro. You cannot talk about a walking trash can.
Renji is the heart and soul of this show.
Renji is the heart and soul of nothing.
Yeah,
that's Ichigo. Ichigo is the heart and soul of this. He the MC, bro.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say he's the heart and soul of the show, but I feel like he's played a bigger role than any other side character that I've seen. Bazz-B could not compete with Renji. Yeah. But let's do it.
Bro. Bazz-B will put Renji on a t-shirt, bro. You get done dirtier than Uyu did.
Quiez, watch this fight now and tell me if you think this dude can beat Renji. Let's go.
For now. And it's the same deal with the other Bankai list fight. Basically, the point of this episode is showing the captains versus the Stern Ritters without their Bankai and it not going well for them. I think the only captain that can do anything against the Stern Ritter without Bankai is Kenpachi. That's where the episode wraps off. We do get the end credit scenes where we get to see Ichigo training with Ichibei, and we will see the results of Ichigo's training in due time. But now we get episode 3 where everything turns around.
This is Baz B Quiz with the
all the Stern Ritters are looking down on the Soul Reapers. The Soul Reapers, without being able to use Bankai, are just getting completely walked over by every Stern Ritter.
No,
even the guy that stole Toshiro's Bankai is standing over him defeated, and he's about to put an end to Toshiro with Hyorimaru, his own Bankai. Conveniently, Urahara calls Mayuri and tells him, yo, I found a way to give everybody their Bankai back.
Oh, okay, I think you're talking about that.
Is the GOAT, exterminating hollows without sending them back to the Soul Society. And it also ties back to Core 1 when Ichigo was unable to get his Bankai stolen. Why? Because we learned in The Blade is Me that Ichigo's Zanpakuto comes from the hollow that Aizen created. The writing in Bleach is right, and I've seen people say, oh, Kubo just made it up as he went along. Bro, the writing has been there the entire time. He obviously had this planned out since the first episode. But Urahara starts distributing the antidote. The antidote actually holifies the user or the Bankai for a short period of time, which makes it toxic for a Stern Ritter to take. They're interested in this. They start taking the antidote. We get to see their Bankai back, which you know what that means. Soy phone.
Wait, so everybody lost their Bankai?
We also see Toshiro get Hyorimaru back. Bankai got special treatment for some reason.
What did you call it?
Bankai.
What you did? That nigga said Bankai. Everybody lost their Bankai? Nah, cuz.
But the Quincy's found a new way to steal like the Soul Reaper Bankais.
Yeah, because I heard Joseph say it like that, so that's why I always thought it was like, Bankai.
Nah, don't try. I say Bankai.
This nigga got a Jamaican. This nigga watching Jamaican Bleach.
What's the guy? Oh my god.
Nigga watching Jamaican Bleach. You heard?
They're Bankai. I know how to say it. Bankai. Yeah.
Bankai. Let's get it.
Reason it's the only one with a visible holified effect, and I'm fine with it because I love Toshiro. You know, give him all the main character treatment you want, but it would have been cool to see that on Byakuya or the other captains using their Bankais. Would have been cool. Speaking of cool though, the next captain using their Bankai, Shinji. I always thought Shinji had a very cool power since his fight with Aizen. I got a couple comments of people telling me he would have done way better against Aizen had he not talked about his power, and I'm like, that's true. That's very true. In fact, a lot of the Stern Ritters, they don't talk about their power at all, or where they come from, or they don't give any information about themselves. But Shinji takes down the lower class foot soldiers, and now he's faced with a Stern Ritter. The OST is so good. I love the OST. You would never think the OST during this fight, it's not really a fight. Shinji's just talking about his power again. But you would never think you'd hear an OST like this in a shonen like Bleach. It's so good. It might be my favorite OST in all of Bleach. But since the Soul Reapers regained their Bankai, the Stern Ritters also regained their power that I'm not even going to try to pronounce. It's so difficult. And the episode leaves us off like that. We get another post-credit scene though. Ichigo is seeing flashbacks of the Soul King, presumably. I feel like watching these post-credit scenes, I'm missing a lot of, I don't even know if I should be knowing this. I feel like I need to rewatch them though, because I know stuff is going on in my head. But now that the Quincy's got their powers back, we're in for some real deal fights where it's not just curb stomps. Shinji, at the beginning of episode 4 of Core 2, Shinji is still talking. Well, it doesn't matter if you got your powers back because everything is still reversed for you.
Dang.
Left is right, up is down, forward is back. Ask me if you have any more inquiries. I'm happy to answer your questions. He ends up having to get saved by Kamamura, and then Momo out of nowhere tries to hop in the fight. You're not, hold on. Momo, like, stay out of this, please. I don't think we even see her for the rest of Core 2. But funny enough, Kamamura has that bucket on his head. I don't think we've seen Kamamura with that bucket on his head since the Soul Society arc. And the last time we saw him, he was asking for his hidden clan secrets, the most powerful technique in his clan's history. Kamamura's bucket gets blown off his head and he looks humanoid. No longer a wolf, no longer dog. He mastered the Jinka technique by ripping his own heart out of his chest. And when he goes into Bankai, the Bankai rips off its own armor. And it's CGI for all. It kind of reminds me of like the Colossal Titan from AOT. This fight was pretty much a wash, especially since Kamamura admits himself, look, while I'm in this human form, I'm actually invincible. Like, I cannot die.
Can destroy the whole city for real.
Behind before he even stepped into the battle. And while I enjoyed the fight, my favorite part about this entire sequence is once Kamamura wins, he starts slowly walking up to Yhwach with the Bankai in the back, up collapsing, and then you could hear his elder. Do you understand?
It's been 4 minutes. It's been 4 minutes, so it's okay.
Every 4 minutes is crazy.
Desire for revenge. Tozen, oh, I remember I said I want to see Tozen's impact play a big role.
Oh man, I remember Tozen, bro.
We're seeing it right now. And at the end of the fight, Kamamura goes full wolf mode.
I felt like that was like
elder talking about you sold your soul for revenge. You chastised Tozen for seeking revenge. You followed down that same path. This is the price you must pay. Wow, like, I'm so glad we got to see Tozen's impact, his ideology show up back in Thousand-Year Blood War. I was hoping and praying that it would, and it did. And it was great. But the next big fight that we got in this arc has to do with the wrestler Stern. Now,
my favorite Stern Raider,
Hisagi, and Yumichika all at once. 2 captains had to step in and handle him. And while the captains did put up a better fight than Ikaku, Yumichika, etc., they weren't enough. In fact, this is where we get the long-awaited, coveted, highly pursued Renji W. It's been a long time coming, but it's here. Renji fans, rejoice. This fight was actually so good. You know, at the beginning of the fight, it might look like the wrestler is beating Renji, like he's putting hands on Renji. No, that's to the untrained eye. In fact, Renji had yet to go into his Bankai. It wasn't until the start used his strongest technique, his strongest attack, through the smoke, you see Renji's Bankai. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I've always liked Renji's Bankai, but this wasn't the same Bankai that I was familiar with. It wasn't the same Bankai that y'all were familiar with. It's a whole new, different design. So Zabimaru, the design is absolutely impeccable. The Bankai is so cool. So this whole time that we've known Renji, the whole time that he's had his Zanpakuto, he's only known half of his name. And it wasn't until he got to the Royal Palace and trained with Ichibei that he found out the real name of his Zanpakuto. And when he went into Bankai, this wasn't even a fight. He one-shotted the Stern Ritter with his Bankai, the one that took out 2 captains. Renji's on that level now. And one can only wonder, as I was watching this, I'm like, okay, Renji came down with Rukia. She was alongside him. So what level is Rukia gonna be on? Keep in mind, we have not seen Rukia's Bankai throughout the entirety of Bleach up until this point. She beat an Espada without Bankai. But we'll see Rukia in action later. And the end credits to the episode sees Uryu talking to Yhwach's second in command. Well, I guess Uryu is the new second in command. They're like 1A, 1B. But he tells Uryu, I think it's about time that you learn what type of being Yhwach is. Your grandfather didn't even know this. After an ending like that, obviously my first reaction is to be a little bit quizzical as to what that means. But the next episode starts off, Ichigo got all this clothes on. They tell him you're gonna need all that clothes to fly through the barrier between the Soul Society and the Royal Palace. As all things are in Bleach, which is what I've come to learn. It'll be important later on, but we finally have Ichigo on his way to the battlefield.
No, I swear to God, me and Quiz got a.
I just got hit with that.
By him when they die. So we're gonna get everything they learned, they seen, all the skills that they've acquired.
You want to his followers, bro?
After they die.
Subscribe to this nigga.
Exactly. Y'all got locked in.
Right now, and this power seems ridiculous. I don't think it's the extent of it, but this was just a little dose that we were getting for now. But the focal point of episode 6, Rukia. Oh, I love this episode. I've been wanting to see more Rukia screen time, more Rukia hype moments, more Rukia fights. We got it. She ends up encountering the Stern Ritter Asnod. And Asnod, from what I've seen so far in Core 2,
I couldn't stand Asnod.
And Asnod also the one that almost killed Byakuya and stole his Bankai. So this is set up to be the perfect fight for Core 2. It's already been established that his power is fear. Rukia's trying to block it with ice. That doesn't work. We see Rukia ask Asnod, alright, what's your fear? And we see Asnod kind of squint, because, you know, Rukia just clocked him right there, little did we know. And Asnod starts going into this monologue about fear, and it seems for as little screen time as
bro, not playing with them ass
this series, he seemed to be one of the characters that was just given so much love in terms of writing. I would probably need to rewatch this and then make a separate video on Asnod by himself to really delve deep into everything that makes his character what it is. But his writing in such short amount of time is so good. Really but Rukia tells Asnod quite simply, look, your fear is not going to affect me. Matter of fact, I'm not even alive right now. You actually forgot the fact that I'm dead. Like, what are you talking about? Explaining her Zanpakuto. Look, it
I'm
allows
gonna
me
start
to regulate
counting.
my temperature and I can drop the molecular activity in my body stop. And she starts fighting Asnod and whooping his ass, going lower and lower and lower in temperature until she reaches
how many long we got?
zero.
We only 12 minutes in.
I'm confused because up until this point, Toshiro has talked about how his Bankai is the strongest ice type Zanpakuto in the Soul Society. He talked about finally learning his true Bankai. So this whole time, that's where I thought Toshiro's Bankai was gonna go, in the direction of absolute zero. That's gonna be his peak. No. How is Toshiro's ice type Zanpakuto gonna be stronger than absolute zero? That's literally the I mean, this is anime, right? They don't abide by the laws of physics. All I'm saying is that Toshiro and Rukia's Bankai seem very similar. I mean, they're both ice types Zanpakutos. I want to see what makes Toshiro the strongest in the Soul Society, as he said, or did they just forget about that? But back to the fight. After all of this, Asnod is still not dead, and we get an Asnod flashback to the time where he was in a hospital bed and he actually almost was dead. And he starts pondering, I wonder if hell is an even worse place than this. If so, then I'm scared. And Yuhaba finds him and tells him, you survived. What did he survive? The only thing I can think of, and this is peak if so, but it wasn't explained. Maybe this is one of those things. I know y'all say that Kubo does a lot of writing that you're supposed to pick up on it yourself instead of just explaining it to you outright. I wonder if he survived the purge of the Quincy's. I wonder if that's why he's in the hospital. He did. Anyways, Yuhaba grants him power. That's the end of the flashback. We cut back to the actual fight. Asnod, remember, on the verge of death, ends up realizing the only thing I fear is disappointing Yuhaba. You know, to each their own. The bells start ringing. The bells sound so good. Ends up powering up and tells Rukia, look, I instill fear into your optic nerves. And Rukia falls for the fear. She ends up getting affected by it at the end of the day. But who's here to save her other than Byakuya? Asnod tries to attack Byakuya and he destroys everything with his Zanpakuto. Asnod's like, oh, how I wish I had your Bankai. Bankai? You think I'm in Bankai? Oh, what a pitiful fool. He really thought that Byakuya would go into this. Is merely Shikai. That's all this is. I love Byakuya, man. Asnod starts freaking out. Byakuya starts talking philosophically like Socrates. Fear is not born in a vacuum. Fear is born from the insecurities that stem from within oneself. Rukia, what you're seeing is Asnod's fear. Rukia, are you fearful? Nah. The music starts playing. The OST kicks in. Rukia takes a deep breath.
Let me lock in for real.
Bankai! One of the best moments in Thousand-Year Blood War. We finally got to see Rukia, the Soul Reaper that's been alongside us since episode 1, use Bankai. This means something to me. And
wait, so she never used her Bankai before?
Asnod say he's scared.
She never had it.
He's scared. Cut to Rukia, the best Bankai in all of Bleach.
You mean tell me she been a character for Bleach long?
Hey, her Bankai is fire though.
No, it looked amazing. And she shares a moment with Byakuya where he says, look, let's go protect the Soul Society. Just a great episode overall. That's pretty much it. The following episode, just as good. Starts off with Yachiru and Asane. They both get attacked by this weird, creepy dude, and his power is a little bit absurd. It's a little bit crazy, but that's not like
Afro Samurai, bro.
Fighting him off, etc. Yachiru uses Shikai, and we can see the manifestation of her Zanpakuto in person, even though that's not what a Shikai does. That's what a Bankai
like an Afro
Samurai
character.
I don't even think they explained it. Maybe they did and it flew over my head. I don't understand Yachiru's Shikai. Into a new stern rid of this little kid, blonde hair, Gremmy, one of the most insane powers, probably the craziest power that we've seen in all of Bleach so far. Anything he imagines becomes reality. The guy that was just fighting Yachiru and Isane was a figment of his imagination. That's how strong his power is. He's able to create life. With this ability, you should be unstoppable, unbeatable. That is until his opponent shows up. Kenpachi. Oh my god. Just came off of his battle with Unohana. What I'm getting at is that now that he's done with his fight with Unohana, I know that he's about to go extra stupid in this fight. This is about to be a ridiculous fight. Gremmy ends up creating their own stage. He said, look, we gotta get something grand. Kenpachi tries to cut him down, doesn't happen. His blade stops. Gremmy's like, oh yeah, I just imagined that my body was harder than steel. Kenpachi cuts him anyways. Mid-sentence, just like that, Kenpachi tells him, look, you can't imagine anything that I can't cut through. And he was right. But Gremmy responds by healing himself. He imagines that he was healthy. I'm telling you, this power is busted. They start fighting.
Bro, so what's his imagination?
Magma. He's imagining Kenpachi being underwater. He closes the earth on him. He says something interesting here. No matter how much of a beast you are. In his mind, Kenpachi's a beast. Save that for later.
If I had that Bankai, man, I'm going
even
stupid.
After finding out his power,
it's not a Bankai.
Nobody's ever tried to to lay a finger on
I'm
me.
going crazy. I'm doing every
rightfully so. Of course, the power is crazy,
heinous,
atrocious
act you ever
trust somebody like this because nobody
to
me pulls out weapons, fired off missiles. Kenpachi slicing
I'm doing every atrocious act I can. If I had that power,
is so cool.
That is crazy.
Perfect for nasal congestion.
That's number 4.
That I will hear
I'm doing every single
but
thing.
Kenpachi manages to get in and cut Remy because Remy sometimes has to really focus and dial in on what it is that he wants to imagine if he wants it to happen. So he wasn't hardened. Kenpachi cuts him 1 time, 2 times. Gremmy's thinking in his mind, am I really going to lose? Keep that in mind. Obviously, this was going over my head while I was watching the fight. I wasn't thinking anything of it until the end of the fight. But Gremy heals himself back up after realizing that I just got to imagine a world where I don't lose. And then he creates a doppelganger of himself. So now there's 2 Grammys that have the same power. And both of these Grammys summon a meteor. But instead of being scared, instead of being worried, confused, Kenpachi, he's hype. I've never cut down a meteor. Do you hear that? And he says his Zanpakuto's name because remember after his fight with Unohana, he learned his Zanpakuto's name, so he jumps up towards the meteor, releases his Shikai.
That's
we
insane.
see Yachido on looking, and he cuts it straight in half. It was peak. It was cinema. I need to open up the source. It was marvelous.
And he's smiling.
This is what I've been waiting for since the Soul Society. Kenpachi learning the name of his Zanpakuto.
No, you think this crazy? Wait till what he about to do.
But that's not where the fight ends. Kenpachi tells him, look, there's nothing that I can't cut through. Gremy, alright, if there's nothing you can't cut through, let me make something that's not physical. You're gonna die in the vacuum of space.
There's no way. You're not cutting through space.
Cuts through Gremy.
Yeah,
what's wrong? You didn't forget to harden your body, did ya? What else do y'all want me to say? Oh, this man
just cut through space and
y'all
cut
know what
through
I'm gonna say. He grabs a hold of Kenpachi.
It was not even 3 minutes, bro. It's like been 3 minutes.
Still standing.
Five
Gremmy's like,
ads.
I don't know what kind of
far
monster you are. I don't know either, Grem. Like, don't look at me. But we see Gremy start saying,
I can't wait to look at
wanna
the
get
comments
stronger
after
than
this
you. I'm
video.
gonna show you that I'm stronger than you. Muscles start popping out of his body and his forehead, and that's what leads him to his death. His body was not
that's a review
made
for itself,
to withstand
Quiz.
Kenpachi's power, and we see that in the end credit scenes.
For real.
It makes sense. But I just gotta say this, just gotta get it
I
off
do a
my
lot of
chest.
cutting
What
out
an
in this
incredibly
video.
Stupid user with his power. Could he have not just said, Kenpachi, well, I imagine you're dead. Could he have not just done that? Amazing fight, though. I don't want that to take away from this episode. This fight was so good. But after the fight, we find out that Yachiru is nowhere to be found. Kenpachi's telling everybody, yo, y'all go find her. And he gets struck by lightning. 4 female Stern Ritters, they start taking down all the little league guys, and all 4 of them end up jumping Kenpachi. So after his fight with Gremy, now he has to deal with them, and they kind of like whoop his ass a little bit, but remember, this is after the Gremy fight, and I also don't think he's into it mentally because he doesn't know where Yachiru is. This is a fraud victory in my book, alright? This is fraudulent. We pan to the sky, though. Who's that jumping off the top rope? Who's that coming from the Royal Palace? Oh yeah, it's EMC, none other than the GOAT, Ichigo. He crash lands. We got all types of Stern Ritters looking at him, and he speed blitzes them. Tells Kenpachi, I never thought you would need my help. I never thought I'd be telling you to get up. And then he starts 1v4ing the Stern Ritters. He wasn't away for long, but damn, like I missed watching Ichigo fight.
So the crazy.
I ain't gonna lie, that part when I seen Ichigo come in, bro, that was crazy. That's number 6 too.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
They all end up going into Sclave Ride. Hope I didn't pronounce that wrong. I get my pronunciation from
Bro,
that.
this is insane.
Tries to let one of her final attacks fly. Ichigo does.
I'm sorry, bro. All these ads not getting shut out.
I don't.
He's trying to get that money.
And seeing Ichigo use another named attack that wasn't Getsuga Tensho was a little bit ridiculous. I don't know what this new attack is, though. And I'm assuming we're not supposed to know everything about this attack right now. I'm just letting y'all know where my headspace is at. It's a really cool attack.
If y'all can see those yellow marks in the video, you can literally see at the end, he got an ad at the end of the video, too.
By Bazz, we haven't seen Bazz since Toshiro fight.
That's what you should.
A number of Stern Ritters, and they're all trying to kill him because they all want that glory. But this is when we see Yhwach, and Yhwach is happy because he says Ichigo paved the way to get to his end goal, the Royal Palace. That's what Yhwach has wanted this entire time. Mayuri starts explaining that since Ichigo was able to fall from the Royal Palace to the Soul Society unharmed, that has left a hole open in the soul membrane. So we cut back and we see that Ichigo is still fighting the Stern Ritters that surrounded him. Renji comes in and saves him and says, look, we'll take care of this. And it's Ikaku, Rukia, Renji, Byakuya, etc. So Ichigo starts to head up to where Yhwach is to stop him, of course. Uryu steps up and fires a shot at Ichigo, and this is where we see for the first time Ichigo realized that Uryu is on Yhwach's side. Now this is where I put my tinfoil hat on and start really theorizing, because I don't think that Uryu is a bad guy. I understand he's on Yhwach's side, but when Ichigo confronted him, Uryu's word choice was very, I'm pretty sure it was deliberately picked. Uryu says stuff like, Ichigo, turn back now, you can't step to Yhwach, you're not as strong as him, if you do, you're just gonna end up dying, you're throwing your life away. It almost seemed like Uryu was talking from like a caring perspective of Ichigo, wanting to make sure that Ichigo doesn't get hurt by being reckless.
According to this Cash App card I got, I'm Nurse Mallory Jones.
That's 7, bro. That's number 7.
Oh my goodness, bro. I'm tired of this.
Chad and Orihime,
that's
who
number 7,
came back from Wekomundo.
Oh my
and the episode
goodness.
ends off with Uryu stepping away from his friends and going with Yhwach to the Royal Palace. Really good episode, and it kickstarts the Royal Palace segment of this arc. The next episode starts off with Shunsui looking at the giant hole in the Soul Shield membrane, like, why did they do that? Don't tell me this was a part of your plan. And Mayuri also shared these exact same concerns.
Yeah,
because why would they do that? They just let Yhwach walk straight into the Royal Palace. And we also get Ichigo's post-game interview about Uryu being on the opposite team. And we know Ichigo, Mr. Protector himself, he says he's just going to bring Uryu right back. This episode sets up a couple of future fights at the beginning. We see that Baby was turned into a zombie by Giselle. But more importantly, Ichigo, Chad, Orihime, they meet up with Urahara. Urahara has replicated Urahara and Mayuri, you know? Both of them combined work to replicate a cannon that works similarly to the one that Kukaku's clan uses. We also see Yoruichi and Ganju return. I'm more hyped for Yoruichi personally. I don't know what Ganju's gonna do in the Royal Palace. Yoruichi was out crafting distortion energy. Don't know what that is. And then we get a fight scene between Ikaku, Yumichika, Giselle, and the zombie. And I still don't understand why Ikaku refuses to go into Bankai. Just go into Bankai. He has such a cool Bankai, but he doesn't want to use it. He has good reason, I guess, but it doesn't matter if you're gonna die. But they get saved by Mayuri, who finally stepped out the lab into the battlefield. I've been waiting to see Mayuri fight. Giselle and Baby start firing off bombs. Mayuri shows off the Reishi locking device. His fighting style is so different from anybody else, but I love it. Giselle pulls out more zombies. She's been turning Soul Reapers into zombies since she got there. Mayuri's like, oh, you know me, I'm a magnanimous guy. I can't bring myself to kill these people. That's why I need these Iran cars to kill them for me. No, but quite literally, who else would have been more random to show Thousand-Year Blood War than Charlotte?
That guy right there,
the whole of these Iran cars after his battle with the Espada, and they start fighting against the zombies. But at the end of the episode, we find out that Giselle turned Toshiro into a zombie. The last time we saw Toshiro was when he collapsed after beating Baz B. So Giselle probably got a hold of him after he fainted. I'm thinking, what the hell? Like, Toshiro just died? Like, he got off-screened? Giselle explains that Toshiro was barely just on the brink of death, but he didn't quite die. But now we're gonna see Mayuri versus the zombified Toshiro. And y'all know I love Toshiro, and he's one of my favorite captains, but I'm rooting for Mayuri on this one as well. And even as a zombie, we know Toshiro. We know what he loves. Bankai. He cuts Mayuri straight in half. The scene cuts to black.
For real, low-key, if I had a Bankai, I'll use that every time. I'm not playing with nobody.
The same thing happens. We're taking back to the past. Long story short, it does not end
Pause, how's he able to go back to the past?
We find out that 2 more captains and Rangiku have been turned into a zombie. Mayuri tells the Iran cars to handle them. They start fighting, and that's it for now. But we cut to Byakuya, and Byakuya is getting jumped by a number of Stern Ritters. Byakuya is taking one after the other. One of them goes into Sclave Ride, doesn't matter. Byakuya goes into Bankai and he handles him with ease. And I love that Byakuya is getting his moment. I still think his character would have been perfectly ended had he just died at Core 1 when he asked Ichigo to protect the Soul Society. That was the perfect ending to his character. But why
would he die?
So it's getting attacked by Hisagi. And what's up with Hisagi?
We have number 9.
The entire Core 2. So I'm assuming we're gonna see his Bankai in Core 3 or Core 4 because it was teased at. Whatever. He starts attacking Byakuya. Byakuya is like, what the hell is going
this
on?
Many
and
ads.
the Star Ritter called Pepe shows up. And then the theme starts playing again. The same OST that was during the Shinji fight. Pepe can kind of like hypnotize people using love. But Byakuya blocks one of his attacks with his Zanpakuto. And his Zanpakuto also falls in love with Pepe. I'm like, okay, that ability is a little bit wild. Saved by Mayuri, though, who has turned Giselle's zombies into his zombies. Now, I wonder what's going to happen to those captains. Are they just going to remain dead? What's going to happen with Toshiro? The end credit scenes show Yhwach and the Stern Ritters arriving at the Royal Palace. It's about to go down. In the next episode, we get a flashback off-rip to Ichibe and Yhwach having a meeting. Yhwach is asking Ichibe who separated life from death, and Ichibe says the Soul King, of course, which inherently brought the fear of death into the people, which was also caused by the Soul King, of course. And Yhwach says, where can I find true peace? And then he gets like 2 pupils in his eyes. Ichibei also has this hand that has an eye in it and 2 pupils. A lot of it I need to rewatch. Oh my god. Showed a quick flashback. I'm assuming the Soul King popped up, Yhwach as a baby, and it showed Ichibei as well. And Ichibei takes the eyes of Yhwach and says that he won't get these back until the day he dies. And then Yhwach gives us a glimpse as to what his goal is. He tells his father that he's gonna take this wretched world with him. And going off what he said, I assume that means he wants to create a world where life and death are not separate. And after that, we're showing Yhwach and the Stern Ritters in front of the royal palace yet again, and they're about to invade. Senjumaru, the first line of defense, tries to attack Yhwach, shows off this ridiculous power. These fights that are going to come up in the royal palace, some of the most unique, creative fights that I've seen in Bleach in anime, and they have some really unique powers, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to explain. But we see the Stern Ritters that Yhwach chose to bring up with into the royal palace. One of them was actually down there in the battlefield. That's the one that I'm most interested in. But one of the Stern Ritters shoots Senjumaru straight through the head. I thought that was real. Maybe I'm a little bit stupid for believing that. I thought that Kuba was using Senjumaru as a stepping stone to show off how strong the Stern Ritters are. I was wrong though. This was actually a stepping stone to show off how strong Senjumaru is. This was actually all a meticulously planned trap by the entirety of Squad Zero, and they're all here. So Yhwach and the Stern Ritters are all surrounded in this bird cage. And now it's time for the creator of the Zanpakuto to go off. He like 1v5 them. I was hyped, but Yhwach shows off this mechanism.
I love how his
Zanpakuto sounds like a lightsaber. So now he's outside, and Yhwach is confronted with Ichibei, and Yhwach says, "You're gonna let me pass." Next episode starts off. We find out Yoruichi has a brother. I know, big topic change. Yoruichi has a brother. Don't know what his role is gonna be, what his purpose will be. Who knows? But you know, he's here now. Anyways, the stage is set. Ichibei versus Yhwach. Ichibei starts off by hitting him with a big ass hand. He also took Yhwach's voice, sent him flying 4,000 kilometers. His fighting style is so unique. I love Ichibei for that. I enjoy watching creative fighters like Ichibei and Mayuri.
Yhwach
hit with another giant bow and arrow and shoots himself to send him back up because he was just sent down 4,000 kilometers. He's like, no, I ain't having that. This fight is so unique. Yhwach and Ichibei says, look, my brush, it doesn't sever flesh, it severs names. I'm like, what? What does that mean? But we see exactly what he means when he hits Yhwach's arm. Anyways, Ichibei cuts Yhwach in half, so now he has half the power. He was half the man he once was, and then he's like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna do this epic Quincy technique, and it's gonna change the tide of battle. Yhwach does this thing that starts sucking up the souls of the Stern Ritters that were left down below. If every Quincy gets down below and not up there in the royal palace with them, they all start evaporating, and all that power is going straight to Yhwach and the people that's up there fighting. We start seeing Stern Ritters like, nah, I'm not gonna let this happen. So maybe in Core 3, Core 4, they start turning on Yhwach, but Yhwach controls their power. So, you know, I'd like to see that happen. Like, try it and see what happens. So now the battle is really turning up because all the Stern Ritters that are up there in the royal palace, they now have been revived with greater power. And the end credits to this episode, I don't know what it means. It's Ukitake and Shunsui. Ukitake says the Kamekake is ready. Don't know what the Kamekake is or does, but I'm interested, I'm invested. We haven't seen Ukitake do anything throughout Thousand-Year Blood War, and he's still kind of like this ambiguous character because we don't know what's up with his sickness that was introduced in Soul Society and just never talked about again, so we still gotta get an ending to that. I just have a lot of questions about his character, and I know they're gonna be resolved. This is Kubo we're talking about. No question is left unanswered. Yhwach talking to Ichibei, everything in this world belongs to me. You're not gonna stop me from getting what belongs to me. Anyways, the fight is now begun, and we first start seeing the Stern Ritters where their new additional powers start fighting the royal guards. I'm assuming that we've all seen the fight. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of new powers being shown off, but the best new power that was shown off, in my opinion, was Ichibei paint it black. Ichibei paints over Yhwach's Zanpakuto. You don't know the name of your Zanpakuto, do you? Whatever Ichibei paints over loses its name, and that has no name has no power. We're showing the royal guards versus the Stern Ritters, and the Stern Ritters pretty much came out on top to the point where the cage fell down. Anyways, the entirety of Squad Zero ends up unaliving themselves, except for Ichibei and Senjumaru. Senjumaru explains that the seal has been broken. Now that they're gone, I'm able to show you my true power. It goes into Bankai. All the Stern Ritters are caught in her Bankai. They're all in like different rooms and sections of the very unique Bankai. CGI of hell. No, I don't care about CGI. I swear I need to watch a video explaining Senjumaru's Bankai in depth because it's so different. Cut back to Ichibei and Yhwach. Ichibei explains, look, all the black in this world belongs to me. Ichibei paints Yhwach in black. It must be tough forgetting your name. You don't even know what your name is. He refers to his power akin to a Bankai in modern terms, but it was the first evolved Zanpakuto long before Bankai was a thing, so I don't know if it qualifies as a Bankai. Still in my top 5.
But when they get to 30, 32, pause it, or you're gonna get hit with another ad.
The disrespect, right? And after renaming him Little Black Ant, he stomps him down 4,000 kilometers and crushes him. And that's the end of part 2. Wow, like I'm
because he got one right at the end of the video.
Go down there back to the Serate, back to the Soul Society. I know this isn't over for Yhwach. I know Yhwach isn't dead. There's no way. What's going on with Aizen? We saw Aizen for like 1 millisecond this entire core. I need to see Aizen again. And last but not least, why is Cone canonically, why is Cone referred to as the King of New York? Who made that decision? There's a lot of questions that I have, and they're going to be left unanswered until I watch Core 3. And best believe I'm a binge it, so the video is going to be up next week.
Alright, y'all, so this is the end of the Bleach TBY. The blood, yeah, whatever. This is the end of the Bleach video.
Blood War.
Yeah, this is the end of the 1000-Year Blood War video of Bleach by, I forgot bro's name. Great video. Mespyy, very great video. Got hit with a lot of ads, but it's okay. Be like that sometimes. I would definitely consider, I would definitely consider watching Bleach. I just feel like I'll probably watch like a overview video of people talking about Bleach up until where it's at now. But I'm definitely not going to start Bleach all over. I would definitely want to start at season 1 of Bleach, but yeah, great video. I look forward.
Thank you for tuning in, man. And yeah.
We'll see y'all next time.